So once again, it's a big wet welcome here to the GP of Spain. Bellpuig is where we are. Temperature is 14 centigrade. Weather rainy. Wind 12 kilometres per hour. Humidity 38. Yeah, we're near Madrid, and we're even slightly nearer to Barcelona, to be perfectly honest. And yeah, the conditions, as you can see, we've had a veterans race. Incidentally, it was Greg Hansen. I wanted to tell everybody in the UK this, but I just didn't get time to do it. Greg Hansen won the first veterans race. David Thorpe did lead, but finished in about 4th. So Greg Hansen having a great rain out there to sort of kind of rephrase a northern saying, chucking it down. You're going to need it, pal. Sebastian Porcel, he was the quickest man in qualifying yesterday. Holy smoke. Max Nagel was second behind him. Then it was Steve Ramon. Then Ken Didike, Tano Leok and David Philipparts. There's the number 12 bike of Max Nagel. I hope he's got his swing. Those things around their neck, incidentally, are not lifesavers. You know, they're not what's name vests. They're not life jackets. They're these new devices that are designed to help prevent spinal injuries. Of course, Wings for Life. Of course, let's not forget about our friends with Wings for Life, Kees van der Ven, of course, Jackie Martins, all the other people that are involved in that. Of course, Pip Byra from KTM, Stefan Everts, and of course Ustream as well. So Wings for Life helping to raise funds for the research and development into methods of preventing and also to cure spinal injuries, get people back on their feet around the world. That's what we want to do. So that's your starting list. There you could see them on the screen. No great need for me to read them out. Just Scott Collum at the bottom, the New Zealander in 32nd. Dave Nicol there with his Service Wellies on, the official FIM race director. Yeah, that is Dave Nicol, not Obi-Wan Kenobi. They're standing there with those wellies. We threatened to put a left on and right, a left on one and right on the other wellie. Dave said, that's fine by me, I don't mind. He puts the green flag up and said, boys, it's about time to go swimming. Yes, indeed. Oh, Mark Deruva, I love that. Steve Ramon, very optimistic, because Josh Coppins getting over that lead injury picked up last week. And Josh will be looking for some kind of good result here. Of course, it is Didike, winner of both races in Valkenswaard, who currently holds the red plate, is the World Championship leader. Didike's those legs, I think, are going to serve him well here today. We're about to drop the gate. MX1 Race 1 here in Spain. Round 2 about to get underway, and that's a good start from Deruva up the inside. Whoa, look at that. He went up there like a jet ski. Oh, we've got a crash on the inside, and that'll be some of the top riders. That will definitely be, that's Didike got caught up in that. 19, that's Philipparts. I'm not quite sure who that is. Looked like KTM. Could have been. But Didike, I'm about to say those legs of him, well, he got so well and true jammed up. And that's 7. He's in 7 that leads. That's going to be Jonathan Barragan. It is Jonathan Barragan. Well, in front of his Spanish home crowd. Barragan, who, where was he last year? I get so excited, I'm not quite sure what I'm reading anymore. Jonathan Barragan, well, he was 3rd, I believe, here last year with 33 points. So, oh, and down. Oh, yes, indeed. Welcome to Western Beach Race, as they say in the UK. Not sure who that is, but he's got to get the bike started. The front dropped into that rut, and he almost got pitched over the bars. We'll try and pick out who it is in just a moment. But it was Jonathan Barragan who got the jump on the rest. And I have to... well, I'm not sure whose that is. You've got to get up that hill, and look, these MX1 bikes struggling where you expect the MX2 bikes with the lesser power to struggle up there, but they struggled, and Barragan only just managed to get it up there. Deruva, I've got Deruva as second, but I don't think it is Barragan. That could be Ramon that's in second. Steve Ramon, looks like that stance of Ramon's. Yeah, that looks a bit like Steve Ramon, but that's definitely Barragan. And you can hear the crowd whooping as he goes through. And, well, he's the local boy. He's Spanish, of course, Catalanian. We say Spanish, but we're actually in Catalonia here, so I have to be very careful what I say politically. We are in Catalonia, and this is an area full of Catalanians, not Spanish people. That's that start. Now, it looks like, was it Steve Ramon that got a cracking start there, and someone went, oh dear, they were going all over the place. That's a Red Bull KTM, I'm fairly sure it is. He's given that one up, and I'm trying to recognise who it was, to be perfectly honest. It's difficult at the moment. It could have, I'm looking down my list, of course, it could well have been, it wasn't Nagel, that's for sure. He's on a Red Bull KTM. That definitely looks like Steve Ramon. That is definitely Barragan that leads. They're not jumping down that hill where they normally would. And they're keeping wheels very much on the ground over that bottom jump as well. We've got Ramon in the lead, but that would have been on a halfway point. I'm waiting for them to come around and complete the first lap. Then our info screen will update. That's definitely Barragan in the lead, yes. And it is Ramon in second place, and it's Deruva in third. Coppins is fourth, so who did we lose? Pole sitter Paul Sell down in 20th. Mackenzie in 15th. Holy smoke, and Chiodi on the TM in 8th. Agaliok in 7th. Philipparts, I wondered whether it was Philipparts that went down. He's in 7th. Nagel has had a problem. He's dropped now down to 8th. Deruva has dropped as well. So it's all happened on that opening lap. They've been going everywhere. Barragan, Ramon, and Coppins is 3rd. Nisali there in 4th. Chiodi, Philipparts, Rene and Tanoliok in 8th. My timing screen is changing so rapidly here at the moment. It's a good job that we've got transponders on these bikes, whereas the old-fashioned system of manual marking, because you wouldn't have been able to read any numbers. Mellot, Schiffer, Salvini, De Dijker. He was off on the start. You saw him get caught up in that crash into the first corner, but already 16th. So I'll tell you what, the big lanky Belgian, Ken De Dijker, will be on a mission. There's Coppins, number 6. Josh, so near to winning his first World Championship last year, and after that problems, or the big problem he had in the Czech Grand Prix at Lockheed after crashing in the second race on the downhill, injured his shoulder badly, basically put pay to his Grand Prix. It was 107 points in the lead. In the end, it was Steve Ramon that took the Gold Cup at the end of the season. But Coppins, so close, many times 2nd, 3rd and 4th, but so close to being the champion. Is this going to be his year? Fingers crossed. We really hope for the Josh. Comes from Motueka in New Zealand. Those of you that are watching us down in Australia or NZ at the moment on Media Zone, good morning to you, and it's nice to have you with us. This is recognisable weather, especially for New Zealand. Certain times of the year, every time I go over there it rains. But your boy doing good, this boy not doing so good. Who is it? Let's just have a quick glimpse of the number. Is that Nagel? It is Nagel. So that's where he went. He sunk it. Now he's got to get it started again. Max Nagel, he probably can't get it started. Look, it's just soup there. He's got wheels. They're going to drag it off to the side of the track. I haven't asked it. Is that Deruva coming? No, that's Julian Bill. Julian, who was carrying a live onboard camera, probably still is carrying a live onboard camera, but we probably can't see any pictures from it because it's probably just saturated in water and mud. But he's carrying, first time ever, a live onboard camera, Julian Bill, with MX Honda Racing, the Honda Martin team. Jonathan Barragan. This is really good stuff for the local man here in front of his home crowd, and they don't care what the weather's like. They're getting right behind him. You can hear them cheering as he comes round. This is the result you wanted. This will put a smile on some wet faces. I can tell you, Jonathan Barragan. High hopes of this young man with KTM. That's Julian Bill, who's gone back out again after, I think, probably changing goggles. That looks like Chiodi on the TM. 121, yes it is. The former 3 times 125 world champion, Kiko Chiodi. Watch our highlights programme. We've got a very interesting little thing with Kiko Chiodi and his 2 dogs. He is such a nice young man. Well, about 33 years of age now, Kiko, so sort of into the twilight of his career. But I'll tell you something, this boy could go enduro racing and do very well. Just look at that style. He knows what to do. Get up off that seat, get on those pegs, let the bike move around underneath you. Who's that behind him? Is that Philipparts? Yes, it is. Well, after Valkenswaard, I'm not sure whether Michele Rinaldi or Carlo Rinaldi spoke to Philipparts about that overtaking move on his teammate, which to me looked just a little bit not as it should have been. But everybody has their own opinion on that one, but personally I think he was a little bit rough on his teammate. I know Josh wasn't very happy about it, I can tell you that now. But being a Kiwi, very laid back, wouldn't have got into any tete-a-tete over it, would have just accepted it and said, OK, my time will come, my friend, teammate or not. But Chiodi really riding well. This TM, it's the alloy frame bike, a little bit lighter than the old tube frame bike, but he's led him through, But has he? Because Kiko looking for a wider line to get a bit of a run on that hill to make sure he gets up it. Those little short legs of the Italian. And Kiko, well, as I said, I think this young man could do quite well in enduros. There is teammates then, the monster Yamaha team racer, Italian Philipparts. Keeping it nice and honest at the moment, these guys. It's still Barragan out front, Ramon in second, Coppins third. Then Chiodi's now lost fifth to Philipparts. So, Davide Philipparts. We're going to go down into the pits momentarily. I have a sneaking suspicion we'll be talking to someone from the Monster Yamaha team. No, it's going to be Chiodi's team, TM. Probably going to speak to maybe Patrick. Hopefully in just a moment, if they could just...
Tony, what a fantastic race for Alessio Chiodi. That's only his second Grand Prix on the TM, but it's already a good result. Tony, che fantastica gara per Chiodi, è solo il suo secondo Gran Premio sulla TM, ma già sta dando dei buoni risultati.
Sì, il suo feeling con la moto sta crescendo e in situazioni così difficili sicuramente la sua esperienza lo aiuta e quindi adesso è soltanto l'inizio, comunque dovrebbe riuscire a mantenere il contatto con i primi.
Grazie. Well, Chiodi's feeling with the TM bike is getting better and better every Grand Prix, and now that the conditions are really tough, I think his experience will make him one of the fastest guys out there, and I think he will not lose the touch from the front runners.
Thank you, Daniele, speaking to the TM manager there. In fact, Chiodi's now in 7th place, and Clement Di Sal has gone past him into 6th. So, yeah, well, Chiodi's he's got a lot of experience. Just look at, he's not going to really put it out, is he? He's not going to risk anything. Nice and steady for Chiodi. Standing up on those pegs, very enduro style. Look at it. He's only a very short guy. So it comes to about my waist. 5 foot, just a little bit, I think. So just getting used to that TM for this year after riding with Aprilia last year on the new experimental Aprilia motocross bike. Of course, the other man on that Aprilia is, of course, Cedric Mellot, and he's down in 13th at the moment. Mackenzie, for those of you watching back in the UK on Media Zone, is in 15th, Mackenzie, so having a tough ride of it. And Daruva down in 18th, Mike Brown in 19th, Antti Pyörinen in 20th. Barragan leads, Ramon Coppins, Liok, Philipparts, Di Sal, Chiodi, René Di Dijk are now up to 9th. And Kevin Strybus on the Kawasaki, now 10th. Tom Church, incidentally, is in 11th. Tom Church, Molson Kawasaki and MX1 for the first time this year. Freeberg's on the 56 bike in 12th, then Mellot, Schiffer, Mackenzie, Nemeth, Salvini, Daruva, Brown and Pyörinen. That's your top 20. Those are your point scorers. Ooh, someone at the bottom there, and you can hear that bike missing. Is that Coppins' bike missing as he went up the hill? Water will get in onto the on top of the spark plug and could cause a problem, but Coppins looking confident. Going for the uphill. Decided it's easier to jump that second one than to try and enduro your way up and on the jumping the downhill, Coppins. So what's his lap time at the moment? Well, his last lap was Coppins at 2:49, Ramon on a 2:41, and Barragan on a 2:37. The best lap at the moment comes from Barragan on a 2:37. Have we got some changes here? I'm looking at Coppins, last lap 2:49. Coppins on a Coppins 2:38. 2:38 Coppins. So he's also on the gas. So as they sort themselves out, I'm having to do about 4 different things at once here at the moment. So excuse me if I just disappear for a second or two. I'll just have to deal with something else. Phones ringing and all sorts of things. That's great fun, you know. Who'd be a commentator? Fight for second place then. Coppins is on the gas. He's gone past. And I'll tell you, Ramon, no, hang on a second. According to this, Ramon has got into the lead now. I looked away from the screen momentarily. That's someone with a problem. It looks remarkably like a Yamaha. And I'm just trying to remarkably find out, see who it is. But he's looking at his bike as if to say, oh, and it's, yes, indeed. That hill is now starting to take its prisoners. It really is now. It's beginning to pay its toll. There's Barragan. Now, according to my information here, Ramon now leads. Barragan is second, so I can see a bike. Yes, I may well confirm that because that definitely looks like Ramon. That'll be Coppins coming after Barragan. So Josh Coppins looking to, and De Dijker, where is he? Up to 6th place, Ken De Dijker. So the red plate holder, the winner of the 2 races at the previous Grand Prix in Valkenswaard, after that diabolical start when he crashed in the first corner, is really working hard. So those long legs and that very muscular body of Ken helping him in these, well, I can only say worsening conditions. So the Coppins, the New Zealander. I've just had a call actually from New Zealand, from Aaron. They're enjoying the action. Well, actually, Aaron's in Japan at the moment, my friend, so I'm not sure where he's calling me from. Blue flag out, so that's Nagel. Nagel's about to go a lap down on the race leaders. He's looking over his shoulder. So what started as a possibly good race for Nagel has ended in a disaster. They're jumping down that hill now, so these MX1 boys, their confidence is beginning to grow as they feel their way around the track. Pick out their lines, and as Coppins gone past Barragan, let's have a look. Past the pit boxes. The mechanics must be thinking, I'm glad they're out there and not me, but I've got to wash that bike afterwards and get it ready for race 2 this afternoon. They have about an hour or so, nearly 2 hours to get those bikes ready, so it's a tough job for these guys. The mechanics work so well. Coppins is confirmed now in 2nd place, so Barragan back in 3rd, Leoc now up to 4th, Philipparts to 5th, De Dijker up to 6th, Coyote in 7th, Strivus, that'll change as they come through. Tom Church now 10th, got Mackenzie behind him. Who are we looking at? Laser helmet, trying to get a quick glimpse of the bike, not quick enough. That's Coppins. Well, that injury, got somebody else buried in the soup, and yeah, very reminiscent of the Western Beach race on a wet day. Look at that. Now that's what you call looking for a new line. Don't just follow the rest, just find somewhere new. It may be better for you, and it appears to have paid off there. We're going to go down into the pits with Daniele Rizzi once again, as we're probably going to talk to one of the Yamaha team, probably maybe Carlo Rinaldi. Josh Coppins, number 6. You can barely read the number. Oh, he looks up to see what's going on. He's looking up the hill to see if it's clear. He's stuck. He's stuck. Coppins is stuck. Coppins has got it stuck. Keep it running, Josh. He's looking to see if he can get the back wheel out. Coppins has got stuck. He's going to have another crack at this one, but that's going to cost him places.
We are here with Jamie Coppins, Josh Coppins' cousin. Jamie, after this misfortune, do you think Josh still has a chance to catch the front runners?
Yes, for sure. He will never give up. He's a good fighter, Josh, and he just has to push on and hope for the best. The conditions are terrible, but it's the same for everyone, so yeah, he'll just push forward and we'll see at the end of the race.
And what about his physical condition at the moment?
Yeah, the physical condition is coming better with time on the bike. Obviously, he had the misfortune at the start of the season, but it's coming better with every race. So we just have to hope for some luck.
Thank you.
Well, Josh Coppins, that's Jamie, of course. He drives the KM truck for Josh Coppins, his cousin, and Josh is going to have another crack at this. Well, he won't go that way again. He's lost valuable places there, I can tell you. And then someone else got stuck halfway up the hill. There is De Dijker, number 9, the red plate on the front of the bike. That will have moved De Dijker up a few places. Those big lanky legs are going to help him tremendously in these conditions. Rider with his goggles over his handlebars, that's not the best place for him, the best around your eyes, but obviously once you've run out of tear-offs and roll-offs, you don't have much choice when your goggles are covered in glutinous slop and mud. Get rid of them. He obviously doesn't want to get rid of his goggles. Most of them just chuck them because they're all sponsored, they get free pairs. That's how I built up my goggle collection back in the old days when I used to ride. So De Dijker, now I'll wait for them to come through to complete another lap before I even start to hazard guess where everybody is. Ramon's probably still out in the lead. De Dijker will have moved up, so will Philipparts, and so will have Leoc. Yes, indeed. Philipparts now 3rd, Barragan 2nd. Wait for Coppins to go through. Is he still 4th? He was 2nd. He will drop 2 places, but there is the big man, De Dijker. Currently 6th. Now that may change when he comes through and completes the lap. Down the big hill. Change to that Suzuki for this year, and it seems to work for him after being with the British Honda team CAS and winning the British National Championship for them. But swapping to Suzuki, and it seems to have gone the right way. He's gone for another roll-off on his goggles. You saw his hand go up. Here he comes now. Where is he? Oh, that's Barragan stuck. Barragan's out of this. De Dijker now 4th, Philipparts 3rd, Barragan's gone, so Philipparts will now be 2nd, De Dijker will be 3rd, Coppins 5th, will now go 4th. well, worried look on their faces, and it's no, the electric start just refuses to kick that bike up. He's got the electric start on that bike, and he knows it's all over. The engine has become waterlogged. There's water on the spark plug or on the electric somewhere. That bike do not want to start. Coyote 12, he's dropping down. James Noble up to 17th, making a return to racing with UK KTM for this year. James Noble along with Sean Simpson in the same team. And good to see James back in action. And Manuel Preem 19th. Nagel now 20th. There's Coppin 5th. Tom Church in 6th. Come on, Tom. TC on the gas. He likes the conditions. Desali. Kevin Strivers has moved up to 10th. Good one from Kevin in these conditions. It's tough. UFO, another one of our major sponsors. Of course, the manufacturers of plastics. That's one way to get your bike out of the dirt and then sit in the mud. Oh, that's got to be cold and that's got to be wet. Oh, just feel for that guy, eh? Just go outside and just go and sit in the big muddy wet puddle, and you know exactly how he feels now. His pants are going to be around his knees if he carries on jumping up and down. He's trying to get out of that corner. He's right on the racing line. And there's Barragan. Well, the bike's going to get pushed home. He's going to have to wade his way in. Allowed to get, of course, assistance from official marshals, but not allowed in assistance from anybody else, particularly the general public. There is the race leader. Steve Ramon. So let's give you a rundown then, shall we? It's Philip Hart's now second with Ramon. Ramon, Steve, Belgium in the lead, the reigning world champion. Jonathan Barragan out of this. De Dijker now up into third. Coppins will have moved to fourth. Tom Church to fifth. Pierre Rene into sixth. Mackenzie up to seventh. Desali up to eighth. Strybus will be up to ninth. and Liat will be up to 10th. Coyote back to 11th, then Marcus Schiffer, Freebergs, Nemeth, Noble 15th, Salvini, Mike Brown, Preem and Max Nagel in 20th. The quickest one out there at the moment is David Philipparts with a best time of 2:36.714. There he is, Steve Ramon. Well, you do it when you got to do it. And Steve, well, looking ice cool and probably ice cold as well out there. But look at that for confidence. He's got an enduro career in front of him if he ever decides to go racing that particular discipline. He is looking so composed. He's picking his line. Getting that Suzuki power wound on just at the right place. Philipparts 19 seconds back off him. So basically, Steve, providing he doesn't make a mistake or do a Coppins, get stuck on the uphill, he should be good for 25 points. But De Dijker still there in third. Can he catch Philipparts? So Ramon, Philipparts, De Dijker, Coppins still fourth. Church, what a great ride from TC. I don't know whether his fiancée back home is watching, but if she is, I hope the house is all right. It's wet out here at the moment, people. It's tough out here at the moment. It's requiring all the skills these boys have learned over their many years of racing to deal with these conditions. It's all about he who gets his head in the right place and gets the bike in the right rut that's going to be doing the winning here. And Steve Ramon demonstrating why he is Mr. Consistent and also a current world MX1 champion. The time ticking away, 13:25 to go, 13:22. You can see the clock there on the left-hand side of your screen. Plus, of course, the obligatory 2 laps. Steve looking for the outside line to try and get some speed as he comes around that top corner. That's that long sweeping left we spoke about in the on the onboard lap with Jonathan Barragan. In amongst the back markers now, once again, this is where things can start to go wrong for the race leader. If he gets a rider that doesn't realise he's there, the blue flag doesn't get shown soon enough, that slower rider can take the racing line away. It's Pierre Rene. Now, Rene is currently in the 17th place. So, Steve Ramon now lapping 17th, looking for 16th place, which would be Mike Brown, number 3 on the CAS Honda. Coyote still hanging on to that 10th place on the TM. It's still Philipparts and De Dijker, 2nd and 3rd. Coppins is still there in fourth after that mistake on the uphill. And the marshal there basically saying, go wide, boys, go wide. Don't try the inside line. We've got a rider stuck in the inside there. So that's obviously the easiest way up the hill. And I almost said we could see a dry line there, but I've forgotten. It's still raining out there. It's chucking it down with rain. It's wet, it's cold, and it's not nice. Now, see how he deals with it. He's really just knows what he's doing. This boy is really looking good. That's Didika. Sloshing his way through the water here, but looking for the right line. And I think Ken's going to, well, he's really not going to catch second place. Is he in second place? Well, Philippart's dropped back. Was that second on the graphic? I just looked away for a moment and just missed the graphic as it popped off, but I'm keeping an eye on my... No, he is still third. So it was Didika, 25 seconds behind the race leader. Mackenzie now up to fifth. So on the Honda, Billy Mackenzie finished, I'm just looking down, the qualifying 7th yesterday with Josh Coppins behind him, then Barragan. Julian Bill was 10th, Mark Drew was 11th in qualifying time, official time practice yesterday afternoon. Freeberg's down there further in the field, and that puddle, that lake beginning to develop even more on that inside line. One good thing about this, let's just have a look at... That's Didika, yeah. Now, is he shaking mud off his hands, off his gloves, or does he have an arm pump-up problem? Oh, he's got rid of his glove. Now, I don't think that was meant to happen. Didika was either trying to shake his muscle out. There, that looks like Philippart's. Now, that means that Didika doesn't have a glove on his right hand. That's going to be tough for him. That will blister the palm of his hands. Although he'd probably be able to hold on to the grip a lot better than he did before. That's second place, man. So he's either got arm pump up and he's trying to shake his arms out, or he's got a very wet and dirty glove and he was trying to get the mud off it. I got a feeling it may have been an arm pump up problem. But inadvertently, his glove came off while shaking so quickly. So he was sort of really giving it some. Now that could really change things. Now here we go. Now, -5 on that lap before. So Philippart's, I think he has ideas, maybe, about trying to catch the race leader. I have to say, I don't think he stands a hope in hell of doing it, because Ramon is too far up the track in front of him at this moment, so you don't even see him in view. So there are 20 seconds. It gives you some idea of how far up the track the first place man is. But I'm sure Philippart's was not going to give up. At least this time he hasn't had it coming together with his teammate Josh Coppins. So I'm just wondering how Ken Didika is going to get on with a gloveless right hand. He's bound to get blisters. He's going to get very, very cold hands, although the gloves would have been soaking wet through anyway. So I actually don't think it would have made too much difference, but still with the cold air going onto your fingers, not so good when you're trying to pull the front brake on. These guys, of course, operate the hydraulic front brakes with the one finger. Very much same with the clutches nowadays, because they're all hydraulic. Most of them are anyway. Didika's still there. Coppins still behind him. Coppins still with a possible chance of nicking that third place. Mackenzie going after Coppins. Strybus and Leon. Church now dropping back to 8th. Well, I'll tell you what, 8th or not, Tom Church still going well. Mike Church, Dad will be happy with that. Paul, of course, his mum will be here as well. They've got a new catering unit here for this year, new extra awning. It looks very, very spectacular, very impressive from Molson Kawasaki. David Philippart's get a bit of a showboat time over that jump. Now he's looking for the right rut. He spotted it, and he's going for the double uphill as Coppins was. So these guys are now sorting out the right place to go to get the power on, to get that momentum to get them over. But he's not jumping the double on the downhill, as some of the riders are. So he's just playing it cautious. Seconds, 22 points. It's not going to be a disaster for him. While we look at David Philippart's, just give you a quick mention to all our major sponsors here. Of course, we've got Red Bull, the official energy drink and exclusive supplier here to the Grand Prix Circuit, KTM Across Motorcycles, Hyundai, the official suppliers for heavy machinery, and City boot suppliers for Tony Caroli. Service, Aroy, Kakrapovac, Axo, Casola, the official truck supplier and service, Defendi, Dr. Glass. Of course, Dr. Glass is the doctor that tends to look after all the top motocross riders. Very good man. Factory GPT Group and Fox Racing Europe, of course, Golden Tyres, the tyre producers, let's not forget them. In Telecom as well, there is Didaika with that red plate. Love my time, iPod Accessories Pole Position Award. They don't just do iPods, they do all sorts of stuff. Official importers of all that electronic equipment into Italy at the moment. Mormai, of course, sunglasses, the official suppliers, the top 3 on the podium at the end get a pair of, and the new ones this year looking very spectacular. Motocross Digitals, that's the magazine. RGO, the bags and duff, all official suppliers. Polysport, Pro Grip, Scorpion Bay, of course, there are Thor, TVE, UFO and Vertex. Lots of sponsors and partners in World Motocross, and I'm no doubt today we're keeping those particular signs nice and clean. Up towards the Hyundai banner with the big Hyundai machine there on the right-hand side. Not much these machines can do, I think, during the break. Whether they decide to scrape a bit of mud off of some of the uphill sections to give them a bit more traction, I don't know whether they're going to attempt to do anything. It's not an awful lot of time, and if it keeps raining, it really won't make a lot of difference. Ramon leads. Philip Hartz, Didaika and Coppins. That's your top 4. Number 13 about to go down a lap on the front runners. Cedric Mellot. Oh, someone with a problem. Well, that's actually the marshal with the problem. The rider's abandoned his bike and left the poor old marshal to drag it down the hill on his own. That's not very nice, is it? It's, after all, it's his bike, isn't it? 5.5 to go, plus 2 laps. It's a war of attrition out there. It's a war of survival. He who makes it home really does deserve the points that he's going to score. Billy McKenzie. Oh, that's a mistake from Billy. Hand off the grip there, you saw, as he stalled it. He's trying to bump start it. He stalled the bike. Will that Honda kick up? You saw his hand come off the grip. A moment lack of concentration from Billy McKenzie, but second kick and she's got going again. He was almost off that bike and into the fence, and that would have been a real problem for him. McKenzie currently in 5th with Coppins in front of him, so that's given Josh Coppins a bit of a breather. Who's that stuck? I'm trying to recognise the bike, I'm trying to recognise the rider, but I tell you what, I ain't got a chance, have I? To me like Tanner Leon. Trying to see by the riding style of the particular. It's his teammate is behind him. Well, not his teammate anymore, a fellow Kawasaki rider, I should say. Because Kevin's so used to seeing him on yellow bikes for so many years, suddenly he changes to green. It's a bit of a shock to one's anatomy, that one. That is Tanner Leon. I think I could just about recognise the number 8 that's on the bike on the front. He's got his arms down, which is fairly Tanner Leon style. Keeps his elbows quite way down, almost a bit like a road racer. Whereas a lot of riders, of course, hunch up, they lift their shoulders, bring their elbows up. Very Dave Thorpe style, as we say. And they look on, anxiously waiting to see what the outcome will be. We've got 3.5 minutes to go, roughly. That definitely looks like an 8. Oh, that definitely looks like an 8 on that bike. Definitely not a 2, because that would be Max Nagel if it was. It's definitely an 8 on that bike. That is indeed Tanner Leon, the Estonian. Incidentally, his cousin, where is his cousin at the moment? Eiger Leon. There's Tanner. Eiger was running quite well at one stage, but it's gone missing now. James Noble is up into 15th place. Last man at the moment scoring points is Mike Brown in 20th, with Max Nagel, we just spoke about him, in 19th. Van Dale, Marvin Van Dale, I should say, in 18th. Manuel Priem in 17th. Pierre Rene 16th. James Noble, then Chiodi. Salvini, Nemeth, Schiffer, Freebergs, Di Sally. Tom Church 8th still. Strybers 7th. McKenzie 6th. Leoc 5th. Coppins 4th. Didaika 3rd. Philip Hart 2nd. Race leader number 11, Steve Ramon. There he is, Billy McKenzie. Billy Mack, the Scot from Longnidry, up there by Glasgow. He actually lives in the south of England now, incidentally, but that's where he was born and that's where he comes from. His dad, I haven't seen his dad this weekend, Big Bill. So if you're watching at home, Bill, well, there's a good shot. His front number plate's nice and clean. Billy, no stranger, of course, to wet conditions coming from the British Isles. We get a lot of wet races over there in the UK. And the weather, of course, normally in England is sort of similar to what we have here in Spain. So us British riders kind of used to the old mud ruts. Tano Leok, no stranger to it either, coming from Estonia. They get their own fair share of rain over there. But Billy Mackenzie, now the thing is, where is Kevin Strybus? 161. We're going to go down to pit lane in a moment, I suspect, and maybe talk to someone with Tano Leok's team. Daniele Rizzi will be down there, heating up his microphone. Ready to exercise his multi-talent language talents.
Martin Tunnel is the best placed Kawasaki rider with 5th, but I don't think there's much more going on now, and he has to be happy with that position.
Yeah, for sure. As you mentioned, it is a hard race today because of the rain, and he's now in position 5, which he was already in the start of the race. But if he continue like this, I'm very happy.
Okay, thank you, Martin.
For Martin there, the team manager. Yeah, he's sort of kind of held his point throughout. You see, it's raining harder a little bit out there, and that's why the front number plates are getting washed off. We can see their numbers from the front now. That is definitely Tano. He did that uphill jump, but almost didn't make it. The top Kawasaki runner. So Suzuki leads from Red Bull KTM. Then it is Suzuki in 3rd. Then Coppins on the monster Yamaha in 4th. Tano Leok on the Kawasaki in 5th. Behind him, it's Billy Mackenzie on the CAS Honda. There is your race leader, Steve Ramon. We just saw Tano a moment ago. Oh, that's the positions. There's Mackenzie just going out of it, and that is Steve Ramon for sure. You can tell by that very upright shoulder. Look at his shoulder stance. It's very, very upright. Seems very stiff on the bike, does Steve. But, you know, whatever style he has, it's good enough to win World Championships. He's won 2 of them. Last year, of course, picking up the red plates when Josh Coppins got injured in that Czech Grand Prix. Probably would have liked to have won the World Championship in a different way, but unfortunately, you know, you have to do what you have to do when you do it, and if a bit of bad luck befalls one of your opponents, then you just have to sort of put your head down and say, well, okay, your tough luck, my good luck, I'm just going to make good of it. Look at him. That's definitely the Stefan Effort style, eh? That's what, if Stefan was out there now, he would be doing this lap after lap after lap, staying off the seat, enduro style. Just drops his weight down for the corner, foot out just to steady to make sure that front wheel doesn't slip away. Classic riding style. Look, he's even got a little bit of an addition to his helmet peak. Very sort of speedway style. That is when they put that little visor piece, little plastic visor down the front of the peak in speedway to keep the shale out of their eyes, try and keep it off the goggles. Steve opting to do the same. Just look at that style. That is so. People back home, you got to learn. Guys that race motocross, if you struggle in the wet or the sand, watch this guy's style. Very Everts, very upright, very up off the seat. Look, he's cruising. He's just enduroing this home, isn't he? Look, just looking for the right line, foot out for the steady. Looks over his shoulder to see if the route in front's clear him. Just clear up. This is classic riding from Steve Ramon. Absolute classic. And there's a dry bit of ground on that uphill, so it is quite hard underneath the loose earth. Absolutely textbook style, this boy. Just picks it, he's picking his line, he's looking up the hill to find out where the best way to go. If there's any stragglers that will block his route up the hill, and he just trials his way up there. He could be quite useful on a trials bike, I think. Could Steve Ramon? He's a very, very talented young rider. We're still looking back for Philly parts. There's the race leader. De Dijk is still 3rd, Coppins still 4th. No real change. There's 2 laps to go now, so I think it's 1 lap after this one, as the race leader comes out of the Golden Tyres corner. He's no hurry at all. He knows the gap that he will have. He knows that the guys behind him really have no chance. 41 seconds the difference. So Steve Ramon could almost stop in the pits, collect a clean set of goggles and a riding kit, and go back out and do the last lap looking immaculately clean. 41 seconds is a long time in motocross. It's virtually a lap around. Well, it's almost a lap around this track. Not today, mind you, but normally it would be. 2:36, 4:07. Lap 8 was his best time. Philippart's 2:36.714. No one is quicker than Steve Ramon. His last lap, 2:44. Phillips Parts on a 2:50. De Dijker on a 2:41. And Cobbins on a 2:43. Leoc on a 2:45. So Philippart's was very slow in that last lap. Third and fourth and fifth place men could close the gap on him, if it's at all possible in these conditions. So we a veterans race earlier on. It was the first race of the day. The poor vets had to go out there and deal with it. We were looking for Peter Ivan, who was the quickest in time qualifying. But when they went out for practice this morning, it was their very own 3 times world champion Dave Thorpe that was quickest in the conditions. But Thorpe led the race, made a small mistake, and Greg Hansen came through to win the first vet race of the 2008 season on the CCM. Good to see Greg back on the bikes. Mr. Clues is here. Boss man of CCM. Alan Clues is no doubt back home watching the action. We'll have some highlights of the veterans race on our 52 highlights programme, which you can watch on various channels around the world. If you're in the UK, you can watch it on Channel 5 about a week after, or on Extreme Sport on the satellite system. Well, up on that top bank again, it's dry out there. It's pretty rough, but it's dry. They're out of the gloop, the soft stuff in the bottom. Ooh, that was almost disaster for the race leader when that slower rider, number 25 indeed that is. That would be Pierre René, who's currently in 16th place, just hesitated to take either a tear off or a roller from his goggles. Steve Ramon almost ran into the back of him. So as I said, even though Steve is in the lead, disasters can happen. He's on the last lap. There's Stefan Everts. Yeah, he's saying, I'm glad I'm not out there. Actually, that's not strictly true, because Stefan would love to be out there, believe you me. He feels it. He gave up racing last year with that 10th Grand Prix win. 10th World Championship win, I should say. 100 and something Grand Prix wins, Stefan Everts. Virtually one of the most winningest riders of all time. But it is Steve Ramon. I'm looking for Strybers, actually. He's in 7th place. Mackenzie 6th, that leads this race and will lead it to the checkered flag unless something untoward goes wrong. Ramon, Philippart's, De Dijker, Coppins, Leoc, Mackenzie, Strybers, Church 8th, De Sally, Freeberg's top 10, Salvini, Chiodi, Nemeth, Noble, Schiffer, René, Priem, Vandal, Nagel and Leonce. Loic Leonce now in 20th, number 45. Down the hill for the last time in this race. He'll pass the pit box on the left-hand side. His mechanics will be cheering him on. This is a great start to the second round of this 2008 F1 World Motocross season for Steve Ramon, in conditions that can only be described as horrendous. Checkered flag swings, he does a wheelie. 25 points on his tally from Valkenswaard. So how will that affect the standings? Well, we'll show you in just a few moments. Second man home should be David Philipparts on the monster Yamaha. Then he should be home. He should be followed home by Ken De Dijker on the Suzuki. He says, "How about that, boys? Wait, I can't wait for us to. Maybe we won't get to talk. We may get to talk to these guys, but maybe we won't. I think all they want to do is go up back to their teams and back to their campers and get this wet kit off. Get a shower, get warmed up, something hot to drink, something energy, something hot to drink inside them, ready for race 2. That looks like Mackenzie. Oh, it's a will-to-will there. Was that Mackenzie and Leoc? Was it Mackenzie? Couldn't tell it, to be perfectly honest. It looked like a Honda. Well, at the moment, Ramon, Philipparts, De Dijker. I haven't seen Coppins come through as yet, but I think he has. Leoc, Mackenzie, Strybers, Church. Ramon, Philipparts, De Dijker, Coppins, Leoc, Strybers, Church, 7th. Tom Church got 7th. He beat Billy Mackenzie. Well, Billy Mac won't be happy about that, I can tell you. Strybers got himself back into, well, he kept himself in 6th. De Sal, Freeberg, Salvini, Nemeth, Chiodi, Noble, 14th. Well done, James, on the KTM. Priem, René. When I first saw James Noble racing Grand Prix, he was a top British rider in what would be the MX1 class now, and he was on a KTM. Vandal, Schiffer, Nagel, last point scorer, Leonce, Bill just outside it, Piran on Leok and Brown making up the top 24. Further down, Barragan out of it. He retired, so did Porcel, so did Mellot, so did Campano. It's a tough one for Steve Dixon's squad, for the boys, because Martin Barr crashed and broke his collarbone. Deruva also a non-finisher, I should say. Mark Deruva. Obviously, those long arms and legs came in handy for swimming back to the paddock. De Dijker still leads the World Championship, 70 points, just by 7 in front of Steve Ramon. Philip Arts and Coppins. Mackenzie just 1 point off Coppins with Nagel, Strybus and Preem. 9th is Nemeth Leok de Sal. Barragan 20 points, sharing that with Church now. That's 12th place for both of them. And Leok, that's Eiger Leok. Freebergs and Schiffer. Further down, 17th onwards, it's Brown, Deruva only 13 points with Vandali. Then Salvini, Chiodi, Bas Van Hoven, Rene and Antti Piran, the Finn, on the Suzuki this year, number 13, 24th. James Noble scoring his first points in 25th, 7 of them. Sebastian Porcel having the time of his life, not. Leon scoring his first point also down in 27th. So well done, Loic Leons.